Now broadcasting live from Broken Bat Brewery in Milwaukee, here's Bryan Dee.
Who snuck that Ben Brust highlight in that open? Happy Saturday, everybody. For the first time since 2011, we have a ranked matchup between the Marquette Golden Eagles and the Wisconsin Badgers. Welcome into Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. Welcome into Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Hanging out with me, I feel like I'm moderating an episode of Crossfire here. On my left, representing the Marquette Golden Eagles, is Matt Yeazel of ESPN Milwaukee. On my right, Alex Gravatt from ESPN Madison, representing the Badgers. Morning, boys. Happy Saturday. How we doing?
I'm good. It sounds like we both got less sleep than you did, Brian, last night.
So you got here to Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. By the way, fabulous place representing Marquette. They've got $5 Ring Out Ahoyas. If you're watching us on the ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison YouTube pages, $5 Marquette-themed beers all day today. They open up early at 11 o'clock, so pop by this morning, hang out with us, have a beer before heading over to Fiserv Forum. But you were asking what everybody was up to last night, and I was at home with my wife watching a Christmas movie, being mature, being a 32-year-old millennial, knowing I had to work this morning. Matt Yeazel works here at Broken Bat, so he closed last night. He was bartending and slanging beers until what time?
We closed at 10.
Okay.
So, we had a good crowd last night, so we went a little later. You know, we're for the people, Brian. But I had to sweep it up, make sure we had everything nice and tidy for this morning.
But I just realized I was remiss in my duties in asking what Alex G did last night in Madison. Right. What were you up to? It sounds like you were out late.
Yeah, so I'm a professional ultimate frisbee player in Madison.
Cool.
I play for the Madison Radicals, and there was late night pickup that a bunch of the guys go to, and so we all just went to one of the indoor turf fields in Madison, and that goes from 10:30 to 11:30. It's about 25 minutes from my home, so I didn't get home till midnight. And then my girlfriend was in Chicago for her cousin's choir concert, and so she didn't get back home until 1:30. So it was a little bit later of a night for me.
I think the key word in that entire story you just told is indoor for Ultimate Frisbee, dude. If I was playing outdoor Ultimate Frisbee in these temps, I feel like Ultimate Frisbee is like golf for me. If it's lower than 50, I'm not flirting with it.
So the region we're in is considered the Mid-Central, and it is it gets real cold for those games. It certainly does.
Well, we're warm inside Broken Bat this morning, and it's going to be hot inside Fiserv Forum at 12:30 this afternoon as the number 5 ranked Marquette Golden Eagles take on the number 11 Wisconsin Badgers. And this has become a topic of conversation around the ESPN Milwaukee offices this week. I'm sure it's been the same in Madison. About the level of rivalry here, and this comes up every year in early December when we get this great game, whether it's in Milwaukee or in Madison. Is this a rivalry? And I have always believed, as a Marquette alum myself, that this is a rivalry. It should be treated as such. It should be treated seriously. And Matt can talk to this as well as a Marquette alum. It feels like the first day you show up on campus at Marquette, it's here's your dorm keys, here's where the food halls are, here's the map to get to your classes, and oh, by the way, turn in anything red you have in your bag, because that doesn't fly here at Marquette University. Matt, can you speak to that?
Yes, I'll never forget my freshman year, the first Marquette hosted the game that year here in Milwaukee, and I'll never forget sitting in the student section and watching security. That's the first year of Fiserv Forum, by the way. Watching security escort people out of the student section that were wearing Badger gear.
Yeah.
I mean, because, look, I am the rare breed that is from Madison and chose to go to Marquette and now proudly roots for the Golden Eagles. And I'm sure there are other people around the state of Wisconsin that go to Marquette. They grow up Badger fans. And, maybe it takes them a little bit to convert over to the Golden Eagle way and the Shaka Smart culture now. But I'll never forget that. It is, you can't wear red in the student section. There are Badger fans throughout the building in Fiserv Forum. They'll make the trip from Madison, but it means more here at Marquette, I think, which is ultimately what this rivalry comes down to.
I think it's because it's ingrained in who we are from the jump. I get the impression, Alex, it's different on the Madison side of things.
Yeah. No one talks about Marquette until this game. We're not like dying to take care of business there. Did you grow up a Badger fan?
Yes, yeah.
And you just got indoctrinated.
By Marquette, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
So you show up and those colors just don't mesh anymore. And My problem with this whole argument, guys, and I agree with you, Alex, like it doesn't feel as passionate on the Badgers side of things. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, Marquette doesn't have football, right? Mm-hmm. And football is always going to be king in Madison, and basketball is, whether you want to admit it or not, is going to take a second seat at Wisconsin, I believe. I think the other thing that comes into play here is some high school bully energy, is the way I like to phrase it, where this game only really matters to Wisconsin on days like today when they have something to gain, right? Like or last year at the Kohl Center when Wisconsin went in there and knocked off the number 3 ranked at the time Marquette Golden Eagles and stormed the floor, right? So it only matters to Wisconsin when they've got something to gain, and that seems to bother me a little bit. It gives me some high school bully, I'm going to steal your lunch money type of energy.
I think that's true in that there's really, like, it's Big East versus Big Ten. Like, there's no real reason for this game to matter. But we go in and we go through it, but it's the Battle of Wisconsin. And so for Badgers fans who own the state of Wisconsin primarily because of football, like if you don't care about college basketball, you like football a little bit, all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, we've got, Ben Bruss shooting threes and Sam Kaminsky just being a big man. Like
Frank Kaminsky.
Frank Kaminsky being a big man. Like, you've got those things going on, and you just kind of happen to become a Badger basketball fan. But growing up in Plymouth, Wisconsin, which we talked about quite a bit before the show for some reason, I liked both teams. I remember writing in my sports column, Sports with Alex Gravatt, that's SWAG, through high school about both teams because I just wanted to follow and report on both.
That's my theory about this rivalry is I think when Badger fans – or the Badger fans that say, oh, like I root for both teams or I don't think it's that big of a rivalry. I feel like most of those people didn't go to Wisconsin.
Sure.
They're from whatever corner of the state they're not invested in this rivalry. I don't think if you ask a current Badger student, they're not going to say, or really anybody that was in the Kohl Center last year when number 3 Marquette comes down, and sure, to your point, they're the number 3 team in the country, but there's more juice to that because it's Marquette. I think the Badger fans that went to the school, they get invested in it and they want because, look, a lot of people in this state, they are picking between Wisconsin and Marquette to go to school academically, right? Obviously, they're very different schools, but, the Badger fans want to, I think, show that, they made the right choice. They're the bigger school. They're the big brother. They always say little brother for Marquette, and I don't even mind that because it honestly kind of makes sense school population-wise. What I mind is the Badger fans from – no offense, Plymouth or wherever else that are just like, oh, we don't care about that team from Milwaukee. I hope they do well in the tournament, whatever. It's like, come on.
Do you view today's game and this game every year as a serious rivalry? 800-990-3776 is your phone number to get in. You can tweet at us as well at ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison as you watch along in every corner of this state. Brad Nortman of Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN across ESPN Wisconsin, said something interesting to me in their pre-show meeting yesterday about this rivalry that as Brad always seems to have this perspective, was one of the most intelligent things I've heard about this rivalry in this conversation we're saying, guys. He said there's no stakes. And the only stakes in this game are bragging rights every year, which is not necessarily enough to make it feel heated, right? Like, even if Marquette loses today, they've still got a ton of runway to have an unbelievable season. Even if Wisconsin loses today, same deal. They could still be a Final Four team, and this game really has no serious impact on the outcome of their season. So I think there need to be more stakes attached to the rivalry for folks to really feel passionate about it. It's the first time I'd really heard that argument from Brad Nortman, and I think the stakes come from one of two things, and I want to pitch you on an idea here. The first thing would be obvious, these two teams meeting in the NCAA tournament, right? If that happens and one team ended the other team's season in the tournament, this thing would go kaboom.
It would never be forgotten.
It would never be forgotten. So I'm pulling for that. I'm rooting for that because it would be great for this state. The second thing is contriving stakes. What did Wisconsin and Minnesota play for last weekend at Camp Randall?
The Axe, of course.
I think this thing needs a trophy.
Yes.
There we go.
I think this thing needs a trophy that spends time in Madison or in Milwaukee, and our fans can help us brainstorm and concoct some ideas for what that trophy should be.
It's a great idea.
I like the idea. I do worry. We had this conversation on Rutledge and Hamilton, which you can hear in Madison from 4 to 6 the other day. I filled in for Jim, Matt, and Molly. I filled in for Matt Hamilton, and the problem with that is in the Big Ten, there's like 19 trophy games, and at a certain point, we don't even know who. There's the train. You don't want it to become something worthless. So how do we make it actively visible, right? Is the town of Madison flying Marquette Golden Eagle flags throughout the town?
I think it's got to be something that, unfortunately, Minnesota did at Camp Randall last weekend. You grab after the game and you fake chop down the goalpost, right? It's got to be something that's actively visible. I would say this. I'm going to lob this up as a first idea. We should get a big-ass bell. I want a giant bell that each team gets to ring or hit before every game, and it becomes a part of the arena experience, and you could paint it your school's colors while you keep it, but you got to ship it back if you lose. I subscribe a huge bell to be the prize for Marquette versus Wisconsin. It doesn't feel inherently Wisconsin, so I'm open to other ideas. Maybe a giant beer mug that we get to put up on campus. I'm open to any ideas, but I do think we need to create some stakes here for this rivalry game.
Well, I like the way you're thinking of making it unique in the arena atmosphere, because it makes it, look, Fiserv's going to be jumping today. The Kohl Center is always jumping when Marquette comes to town, but to make it, like you said, when Wisconsin plays Minnesota, you always see the axe. You see the trophy on the field. Those fans get to experience that. So anything that makes this matchup stand apart, I'm all for.
800-990-3776, the phone number to get in. Is this a rivalry? Do you feel the juice every year between Marquette and Wisconsin? And what should the trophy be? We need some stakes for this game. Is it an axe? Is it a beer mug? Is it a bell? Hit us with your ideas on the phones and on Twitter. We are with you until noon today when on 94.5 ESPN, Gabe Neitzel will take over with your Marquette Network pregame coverage. Homer and Tony Smith on the call of Golden Eagles Badgers at 12:30 this afternoon. Coming up next, the most divisive shirt in Wisconsin, and does Shaka Smart have a Wisconsin Badger problem? That is next. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
Get your hydration on track with Water Joe. Water Joe has 0 calories, 0 sugars, 0 artificial sweeteners, and 0 carbs. Get a 700 milliliter bottle of Water Joe at your local Festival Foods for 99 cents now until December 8th. Just purified water infused with a kick of caffeine. It's a great alternative to sugary sodas, sugary coffee, or energy drinks. Get that 700 milliliter bottle of Water Joe for only 99 cents through December 8th at your local Festival Foods location.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
If your child faces an unsafe situation at home, are they prepared? Friday, December 13th from 3:45 to 5:15 p.m., Stoughton Health is hosting the class Safe at Home at McFarland Municipal Center. For students in grades 4 through 6th, students learn to practice safe habits, prevent unsafe situations, how to handle an emergency, like a power failure, weather, injuries, and illnesses. Class fee is $25. Financial assistance is available. Visit stoughtonhealth.com to register, then click on Classes and Events.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Everybody's buzzing about Quick Trip's possibly pilfered potatoes. We have them priced so low, some say they're illegal. Swipe potato fries? Potatoes ill-gotten? Stash browns? Come on, these are not hot potatoes. But it is a quick hot savings. You might say it's a steal. No, don't say that. 99 cents for a 5-pound bag. 5 pounds of potatoes under $1? What a heist. A perfect score for those large meal gatherings. Quick Trip. We got your taters covered.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
You're listening to Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Inside, got it. 3.5 seconds to go. And the Wisconsin Badgers come to Milwaukee and in overtime take down Marquette 80-77.
Yeah, the Badgers have had Marquette's number in Shaka Smart's tenure at Marquette University. This is College Game Day. Bryan Dee, Matt Yeazel, Alex Gravatt live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Come hang out with us. We are open. The beers are flowing. With you until noon. Tip-off between these two rival schools at 12:30. Is this a rivalry? That's where we let off this morning on College Game Day. I think we need to build in more stakes because regardless of outcome in this game, what we've come to find, boys, is teams can recover. Both of these teams can recover and have memorable, great seasons, even if they lose. We need to get a trophy. We need to get some real stakes. And we can't contrive this, we need them to meet in March Madness in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that would obviously add the most. And I was trying to think if there was a time that had happened. I don't think there is. And just having the excitement and the passion about March Madness where everyone is locked in, people are watching the games, like it's on in all of your offices, that would be a really good way to build some passion in. And maybe even getting I don't condone fighting, I don't condone violence, but kind of that like Michigan, Wisconsin kind of thing like we saw last year where things get
scrap on the floor.
Contentious. Yeah, like I want to see people diving on the ball. I want to see people, bruised, maybe bloodied up a little bit, and like fighting for the win.
So it's interesting you bring that up because our good buddy Alex Strofe, who by the way it's his birthday today, happy birthday Strophy. Alex Strofe, the producer of KBN and host of Mr. Irrelevant on the ESPN Wisconsin YouTube pages, he had Coaches Week just before the tip-off of college basketball season. He did great interviews with Greg Gard, with Doug Gottlieb, with Bart Lundy, and with Shaka Smart. And he asked Shaka about this rivalry and if he feels the heat and the hatred and the vitriol that should exist in a rivalry. Take a listen to what Shaka Smart said, on Coaches Week with Alex Strofe at the tip-off of college basketball season about this rivalry game.
For us, obviously, it's been a game where you're playing against a really good team. And so in that moment, it's like you want to move forward and you want to go capture, what they call a quad one win in college basketball. They've gotten the better of us the last few times. When we get to that game, it'll certainly be, one that we're super excited about and want to pour everything we have into.
That is Shaka Smart on Coaches Week. And I think the interesting part of that quote, he went on to say, guys, that a lot of the guys that go to Marquette are not from the state of Wisconsin, so they don't grow up in this. They just see it and feel it from the fans. And they have to understand and learn across the course of 4 years that this does mean a lot to the people of this state. So I think what you just said, G, is spot on, that we need some of that hatred and vitriol between the players. But it's hard because a lot of these kids didn't grow up. John Tonje, the star player for the Wisconsin Badgers this year, he didn't grow up here. He's going to be here for 1 year, and then he's going to leave, hopefully, for the NBA from a Badgers perspective, right? So he doesn't have the depth of vitriol. He never will for this rivalry game in some ways because of the state of college basketball.
Well, with recent trends, it seems like any Wisconsin player who's got some talent is transferring out after 1 year. So it's going to be hard for them to develop a real vitriol for Marquette.
That's what I'm talking about. We need the little subtle digs in the show here. That's perfect.
There we go. And, Shaka did mention, got David Joplin, of course, from Brookfield Central. So you got to think he's a Milwaukee guy. He knows what it's like to welcome in the team from Madison and try to take them down. But again, like I mentioned earlier, this is an early December college basketball game. At the end of the day, both of these teams are concerned mostly about getting into conference play and having a good conference season, winning their conference, getting to the NCAA tournament. But with the situation it is, obviously, they're not going to play in the same conference, unfortunately, even though I'm sure that would be a lot of fun. Duke, North Carolina, that's how those rivalries come about. But so we got to do what we can to juice up this matchup, not just this year. We're spoiled as fans with this being a top 15 matchup. I think it's the first top 15 matchup ever between these teams. But most of the time, sometimes Marquette's going to get off to a hot start, like last year, and Wisconsin's going to be unranked. But, the matchup is so good on the court, you almost kind of throw the stats out most years, regardless of who's ranked higher and who's not. So I think we got to do what we can to make this, like you said, add more stakes to it and get more people invested.
Todd in College Station, Texas, texts into the show. 800-990-3776 is the ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line. And he compares this rivalry game to Texas A&M versus Texas, which obviously we don't have a lot of experience with. But from the outside, guys, for college football, it feels like Texas's main rival is Oklahoma, right? And they've got another in-state rival in Texas A&M. That would seem to make sense. But Todd says everything goes up in the air once the ball is kicked off. Kind of the same here, right? Yeah. We can tiptoe around, is this a rivalry, is this not? But when that ball tips off at 12:30 this afternoon, Fiserv Forum's going to be up for grabs, and there's going to be hatred and vitriol for that 2-hour period, and that's where the rivalry exists for
So I've got two things here. One, first, you're 100% right, and I do think that from the Wisconsin Badgers perspective, from an inside perspective, it is a rivalry in the same way the Packers and Bears are a rivalry, but not because it's super important or crazy historic, but because no matter who it is or when it is, the Badgers come into this game with the expectation, or at least of recent history, hey, it doesn't matter that we are statistically the worst team, that we're not going to make the same run in the postseason. We're going to go beat Marquette because that's who we are and that's what we do. And we hang our hat on that. That is something that, talking around the ESPN Wisconsin or ESPN Madison office, I give DJ Tiny Hands, Hunter Vaughn, a ton of crap because the Badgers win. He's chalked this game up to a loss. It doesn't matter what's going on just because it's Wisconsin. Yep. And I think that's fantastic. Also, Matt, you brought up earlier Duke UNC. My girlfriend is from the Durham area, right? So her mom works for UNC. Her dad works for Duke.
Electric.
It is a household divided. It's the first question they ask. People are all in on that. And because of that, because of the big names and the storylines that those games produce, people want to be a part of that. And we're losing in-state guys that, like Con Knippel, who played here in Wisconsin. He played in state championships. We covered them on ESPN Madison. We're missing out on guys like that because we don't have that fire here in Wisconsin, between Marquette and Wisconsin. And I think that we can do more just from a marketing aspect around it.
Absolutely, I agree. I think it might be underrated across the country, but I think people who really follow college basketball in this state, regardless of what city you're from, understand that we got two really good basketball programs year in and year out. Sure, we don't have the national titles to back it up just yet. A couple teams have gotten close, but I think these two teams are too good, and the matchups consistently are too good for it to not be more recognized nationally. And like I said, I think some people could fantasize about if Marquette were in the Big Ten, but the Big Ten can't take any more teams right now.
Big 18.
Oregon is playing for a Big Ten championship today in
right.
football. I think you hit on something very important there, Alex, about this rivalry. The local connections and the local ties and the kids that grow up in it are really important here. And I think about the great Wisconsin-Marquette moments of the last 15 years, right? Vander Blue, Madison Memorial kid that decided to go to Marquette, right? And there was
following Wesley Matthews' footsteps.
Wesley Matthews' footsteps, right? There was tremendous anger and vitriol about that, right? The Hauser brothers leaving Marquette and flirting with Wisconsin for a little bit before ultimately ending up at Michigan State and Virginia. But there was a lot of nervous anxiety about, oh my God, are these kids going to spurn Marquette to go to Wisconsin? It was there. There's one big connection right now, locally, for this rivalry, and it's Shaka Smart. Shaka Smart grew up in Oregon, Wisconsin. He's a Madison guy. He came home to coach at Marquette, right? But he's in Milwaukee now. And I think if Shaka leans into this thing, and Shaka stays at Marquette like we hope he will for a long time, he could really be at the center of this going from a 4 or 5 rivalry to a 10 out of 10 rivalry. He's got the passion. He's got the excitement. I just wonder if he'll lean in a way to the vitriol and the excitement and the entertainment that we need in a rivalry. But he is at the core and the center of it right now, and I don't know if he's going to be able to be the spark that takes it from 5 to 10.
Well, we haven't seen it yet, but he's always acknowledged, that he grew up following Wisconsin, and that, was part of what got him in to the sport of basketball. And I think that's, important to talk about. And look, if, I think Marquette fans are clearly all in on Shaka Smart. Maybe they ignore the fact that he used to be a Badger fan, but I think that plays into this rivalry. I think Marquette is what Shaka Smart is. That's just kind of how college sports go. You take on the identity of your head coach. And I think Marquette, from a program perspective and a fan base perspective, is all in on Shaka Smart. But it's the one blip in his resume so far. And otherwise, ever since he came here, he has shattered all the expectations, but he hasn't beaten Wisconsin, and that's a big deal here.
Yeah, and again, I come from this as I'm a Badger fan. I went to school at UW-Wisconsin or UW-Madison. I'm a big fan of all things Wisconsin, but I also like Marquette. And I think until Luke Fickell came to Wisconsin, the biggest coaching hire in all of Wisconsin sports in my lifetime was Shaka Smart. Shaka Smart brought excitement, passion back to Marquette. People were really excited and immediately made a difference. But maybe it's that kind of, Aaron Rodgers versus the 49ers, they're gonna be sad that they didn't draft me and then goes 0 for 4 in the playoffs or whatever it is against him. Like that, there's a little bit of that. And does he have a Wisconsin problem? Well, he does till he doesn't.
So far, he does. The first year, it was Johnny Davis going off. The second year, it was Chucky Hepburn inside Fiserv Forum in a close loss. And last year, Max Klesmit goes scorched earth from the three-point line and knocks down Marquette at the Kohl Center. We'll see what happens today. That's Alex Gravatt. That's Matt Yeazel. I'm Bryan Dee. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, live across ESPN Wisconsin from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Stop by pregame. Have a ring out of Hoya. Maddie's got one in his hand right now. If you're watching on the YouTube streams, they're $5 all day. Stop by before and after the game. They're open early. They're open now. Come have a beer. Coming up next, a man that spent a day or two inside Broken Bat Brewery. He covers the Golden Eagles closer than anybody. It's Ben Steele of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He'll join us from inside Fiserv Forum. Coming up next, this is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, live across ESPN Wisconsin, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Your warehouse concrete floors see a lot of traffic. Uneven, sinking, or cracked concrete can pose a serious threat to any business operation. From trip hazards to cracked foundations, sinking concrete can keep any business owner up at night. Concrete Lifting Technologies is here to help. Concrete Lifting Technologies can even out that concrete floor to prevent these hazards. They can level your warehouse floor within a few hours and don't even need to shut down your operations. Visit itaintmudjack.com to get a free quote today. That's itaintmudjack.com.
Black Friday is Cash Friday
At Ho Chunk Game in Madison.
on Friday, November 29th, starting at 5 p.m. 18 winners will each take home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500 in our Cash Friday promotion. And at 8 p.m., one winner will take home the $40,000 grand prize.
Plus, November 29th is Ho Chunk Day.
And we're celebrating by giving the first 500 guests visiting our Rewards Club booth
$25 in rewards play.
Cash Friday is a holiday tradition at
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-517-9383. That's 800-517-9383. 800-517-9383.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee for Steinhoffels. Steinhoffels is partnering with Special Spaces Wisconsin and the Green Bay Packers to create dream bedrooms for children battling cancer all across Wisconsin. This season, every time the Packers make a field goal, Steinhoffels will donate $1,000 to Special Spaces Wisconsin. Steinhoffels has been Wisconsin's furniture and mattress leader since 1934, is 100% employee-owned, and is a proud partner of the Green Bay Packers.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Marquette and Wisconsin both want to rule the world today. This is College Game Day live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Bryan Dee, Matt Yeazel, Alex Gravatt with you until noon today. The beers are flowing at Broken Bat ahead of number 5 Marquette, number 11 Wisconsin, tipping off at 12:30 on 94.5 ESPN in Milwaukee. Joining us now, a good buddy that covers the Golden Eagles closer than anybody. He is Ben Steele of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Good morning, Benny. How are you?
Hey, what's up, guys? I miss seeing you in person. I should have stopped by Broken Bat and got a couple of those Marquette Golden Ales before I shipped off to work.
Yeah, we got a couple Ring Out Ahoyas here. They're $5 all day. So once you submit your post-game story on Deadline, Benny, you can pop by, and they got $5 beers, and I'll leave a tab open for you after this game.
Yeah, for any of my bosses, I was just kidding.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Yeah, Ben is now clear from any pregame culpability. Nicely done. Ben, I want to start with the injuries on the Marquette side of things today. In the last week, Zayd Lowry, the sophomore, went down with a knee injury. Mm-hmm. Chase Ross then went down early in Wednesday night's game at Iowa State, a loss for Marquette with an ankle. Any chance either of those guys played today? What have you heard from Shaka Smart?
No, as far as I know, Zayd is going to be out today. They're going to reevaluate him next week. He was limping around the other day, so I don't think there's any chance of him playing unless by some miracle he woke up today and was feeling better. Chase, it was a pretty bad ankle injury. He was like backpedaling on defense, turned it pretty good. He was in a lot of pain, and it's a quick turnaround. Although when I talked to Shaka Smart on Thursday night, about 24 hours after the injury, Shaka was a lot more optimistic about his recovery. So we'll see. I imagine they'll get to the arena here pretty soon. I'm sure he'll go through some stuff with the trainer. But, yeah, like I said, that's a quick turnaround. So he was in a lot of pain. Even if he tries to gut it out, I imagine he's going to be limited in some form if he does indeed try to play. And those are two big perimeter defenders for Marquette, especially going against a good backcourt, with John Tonje and John Blackwell for Wisconsin. That's going to be something to watch.
Ben, obviously both teams coming in off a loss today. For Marquette, what were your takeaways from the Iowa State game? Obviously that was an opportunity for Marquette to get a big win. Yeah. Coming up short, Cam Jones struggling a little bit, which is rare to see so far this season. What were your main takeaways from that one?
Yeah, it was weird with Cam. He's been so efficient all season, and I think he missed a lot of shots that he usually makes against Iowa State. You can kind of credit Iowa State's defense. I mean, that's a top 10, top 5 defense in the nation at Iowa State. Tough environment, too. I'm sure that played a factor in. One of the biggest things I think Marquette wants to fix is their physicality on defense. They were kind of knocked back a little bit, especially in that first half against Iowa State. I think Iowa State kind of took it to them, and that was something that Shaka Smart talked about after the game, especially in regards to Demarius Owens and Royce Parham, the two Marquette freshmen. They played really well on offense. They kind of struggled on defense a little bit. And they're going to be counted on to play more now, especially Marquette's banged-up roster. Those two freshmen are going to be thrown into the fire here in this rivalry game. So I think that was the biggest thing I want to see from Marquette grow from that loss is kind of patch things up, get those freshmen more on the same page defensively as their veteran teammates.
I'll tell you what, and Ben Steele, the Journal Sentinel, joins us here across ESPN Wisconsin. This is College Game Day. If Cam Jones' worst game is flirting with a triple-double, I will take that. I will take that all season long.
Ben, I know my name's Alex. We haven't met before. I'm not in on the Marquette side of things as much. I, like you, am a UW grad, or at least according to your LinkedIn that I've pulled up here. Now, I'm curious. Did you grow up a fan of Wisconsin? Were you a fan of Wisconsin through your time at Wisconsin?
No, I didn't grow up in Wisconsin. I kind of moved around a little bit and ended up my last year in high school in Minnesota. That's how I ended up going to college in Wisconsin. So I kind of learned about everything while I was going to school. I was there from 98 to 2002. So that was the heart of the Dick Bennett era, back when they were scoring 40 points a game. Wasn't the most exciting, brand of basketball. They did make the Final Four in 2000 when I was there, and I rushed down State Street with all the other fans. So that was my. I didn't loot any stores or anything. Again, for the record, for any.
Okay, good. You're very conscious, Ben, today of not getting yourself in trouble with your employer. This is interesting. Very good. No looted
it's
stores.
It's early in the day. I'm not trying to get canceled by 11 a.m.
Well, so Ben, it's interesting, and Ben Steele, the Journal Sentinel, covers the Marquette Golden Eagles. You can read his stuff, jsonline.com. Ben, you just mentioned you were at Wisconsin in the heart of the Dick Bennett era and scoring 40 points a game. This is a different Wisconsin team this year. They've been playing basketball since 1897, and this was the first year where they scored 75-plus points in their first 7 games of the year. Like, they just figured out offense is cool. How is that going to be a different challenge for Marquette today? Because for the first time in a while, it almost feels like strength against strength of a great Wisconsin offense and a great Marquette defense.
Yeah, I think like the biggest matchup is the battle of the backcourts, right? Especially with Marquette banged up. I think one of the reasons Wisconsin's playing at such a higher pace is they got really good guards. They got John Tonje and John Blackwell. Kamari McGee's been like awesome off the bench.
They've got Greg guard,
knocking down threes, and Tonje's really good at getting to the basket and drawing fouls and scoring efficiently like that. So that's going to be, Marquette can't get into foul trouble, especially in the backcourt with their lack of depth with the injuries. So, Stevie Mitchell guarding John Tonje, I imagine he's going to get the first call assignment. Marquette switches a lot on defense, so that doesn't really mean that much, but that's going to be key. Marquette's got to stay out of foul trouble, not let those guys get to the free throw line for those easy baskets, and can't get in foul trouble themselves with their lack of depth.
And, Ben, we touched on it a little bit before you joined, just how the last three matchups Wisconsin's always had one guy really step up and go off. Last year, a bit of an anomaly for Max Klesmit just going off, particularly in the first half. Who do you think you have your eyes on? You mentioned some defensive struggles for Marquette in their last game, and obviously those injuries are a concern on that side of the floor. But who do you think the Marquette defense is going to have their sights set on the most for this Wisconsin team?
Yeah, I think it's John Tonje. He kind of makes the offense go. It's funny with these rivalry games. It's always just the most unexpected guys come in and have the biggest impact. So for the Marquette side of things, I would point to Demarius Owens as a guy that could kind of break out. He missed, a couple games early in the season with a toe injury, so I don't know if people are quite as familiar with him, but he is, like, if you walked into a gym just watching Marquette practice, you would see him as 6'7", long arms, super athletic. You would point to him and say, that's a basketball player. So I think he might have a pretty big impact on this game. Not just defensively guarding all those, backcourt guys for Wisconsin, but offensively he could create some matchup problems for Wisconsin.
Now, both Wisconsin and Marquette are coming off of pretty tough physical losses with real big guys up under the hoop. I'm of the volition that I believe Wisconsin is going to come out and be better about being physical. They're a Big Ten team. They're used to this kind of play. Tell me why I'm wrong. Why is Marquette going to handle this physicality better?
Marquette has always kind of, especially under Shaka Smart, really had preferred the long, skinny, mobile big guys. I think the last couple of seasons, they've kind of, the coaching staff has kind of figured they needed a little bit of bulk down low, and I think that's why they brought in Keaton Hamilton, who redshirted last season. He's a freshman, playing his first season this year, but he's more like a thick 6'9", solidly built guy. That's something that Marquette's not had a lot of under Shaka Smart. And if you watch that Iowa State game, he laid like a massive screen on an Iowa State guy, just laid a guy out. So that's not something you see typically the last couple of years for the Golden Eagles. So if it comes down to that, Marquette might need Caden Hamilton to come in and be one of those unsung heroes that not a lot of people are expecting a lot out of today.
Last thing for you, Ben. You've been watching this rivalry between Marquette and Wisconsin for 25 years. Which moment from this rivalry game sticks out the most in the last quarter century of basketball watching for you?
Oh man, that's a good question. I like the tense moments. Not that we condone violence over the airwaves here on ESPN radio, but I think about Dominic James. I think it was Joe Krabenhoff. They got in each other's faces. Probably going on 15, 20 years of that one. I'm thinking of off the top of my head, 2017 when Andrew Rousey pushed Mosh and they were going back and forth a little bit. Nothing that goes over the top, but anything that just gets those juices going, that's what I'm a fan of.
All right, Ben, I said last thing, but Alex G's got one last thing for you.
So we're talking about how we need to get a little bit more juice, a little bit more energy, some excitement about this rivalry, and we're talking about a potential trophy game, right? Something to kind of get the fans involved. What if you could have anything be the trophy for Wisconsin Marquette, what would it be?
Yeah, I'm thinking like a bronze PBR can, that they pass back and forth.
The bronze PBR can that the college kids are drinking out. You know what? Bronze broken bat can. I think we can get Tim to sign off on that. I love that.
Yeah,
Ben,
I should have got the sponsor in there.
Oh, you're good. But no, the PBR can is perfectly motifed into the state of Wisconsin.
That's why you guys are the pros.
That's it. Ben, you enjoy the game today. We appreciate you as always, and we'll see you at Broken Bat afterward.
Awesome, man. Sounds good. Keep those beers cold for me.
Will do. That is Ben Steele of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He covers the Golden Eagles closer than anybody. Read his stuff always, jsonline.com, and follow him at Ben Steele. Steele is with an E. Coming up next, the last time Marquette won this rivalry game was a buzzer-beater tip-in during the COVID year from the fingertips of Justin Lewis. So in honor of that, we're going to do some tip-ins on the other side. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
Is your computer so slow you can hardly use it? Does it have blue screens, malware, viruses, reboots, hardware crashes? Sound familiar? Computers will have problems, and when they do, you need the computer experts at Madison Computer Works. Every day we help home users and businesses keep their computers and networks running smoothly. For solutions to your computer problems, call the pros at 231-8000, and we'll turn this into this. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
Prairie Athletic Club is the ultimate destination for health, wellness, and crushing your goals. This is Sarah Tauscher. Say goodbye to post-workout aches and pains at the Pack's new Recovery Zone. With their assisted stretch and pneumatic boot sessions, you can get instant results, leaving you feeling refreshed and ready to tackle your next workout. Don't believe it works? Give it a try. Stop in, stretch your body, and relax your mind at the Pack. Visit prairieathletic.com to learn more. Prairie Athletic Club, family, fun, community.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Cousin Subs is spicing things up this fall with a new sub and a delicious shake. The Chipotle Cheesesteak Sub, with either grilled-to-order chicken or steak, features pepper jack cheese, sauteed green peppers and onions, jalapenos, and Chipotle ranch dressing. And that's not all. Pair your Chipotle cheesesteak with a delicious mint shake, and your taste buds will fall in love. Order in-store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Hey, it's Bobby Portis, and I love playing basketball in Milwaukee. When I drive down the lane, I move fast and make sudden moves to drive to the hoop and score. But when I'm behind the wheel in the driving lane, I control my drive. I don't speed or make sudden movements. Speeding and reckless driving are the leading causes of traffic injuries and deaths in Wisconsin. Do what I do. Control your drive. Don't speed. Don't be reckless. Zero in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Wisconsin DOT.
Celebrate the return of the high school basketball season on ESPN Madison with the 608 Basketball Tournament. Featuring the best boys basketball teams and recruits from the Madison area and around the state, the 608 Tournament returns Friday, December 13th and Saturday, December 14th at Madison College. Come experience the best showcase of high school basketball in the Madison area. Purchase tickets today at 608basketball.com. That's 608basketball.com. The 608 Basketball Tournament, December 13th and 14th at Madison College.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
You're listening to Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Now Wall for three. Oh, what a sequence! What time Wall?
Is there anything better than Bill Raftery's voice on the call? Couple things. Number one, us three knuckleheads live from Broken Bat Brewery. Woo! Bryan Dee, Alex G, Matt Yeazel. But also,
beer's flowing.
Beers are flowing at Broken Bat for sure. But also Homer and Tony on the call. 94.5 ESPN coming up at 12:30. Marquette, Wisconsin. Renew the rivalry. First time since 2011. These teams are meeting, both ranked in the top 25. Marquette's over their last three against Wisconsin. Shaka Smart winless against his hometown team. The last victory was a Wojo win with a Justin Lewis tip-in at the buzzer. Nobody there to celebrate because it was in December of 2020 in an empty Fiserv Forum. In honor of that tip-in, producer Will Summers is going to take us through some tip-ins, some quick hitters for today's rivalry game.
You're gonna play the game, boy. You gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold.
All right, Will,
fellas.
Let's start, buddy.
Time for some tip-ins, and this first one seems like anything but a tip-in to me a little bit, maybe like a 12-foot mid-range jumper. It's the Badgers, plus 6.5. Wisconsin, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games against Marquette. Is 6.5 too many points for the 11th-ranked Badgers on the road?
Disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Absolutely. Like 6.5 is an easy cover for me in my mind, right? The Badgers 3-0 in the last 3 meetings. You've got a team that has been hot. And yes, they lost a really physical game against 2 7-footers for Michigan. Are you kidding me? There's no one on Marquette who is that big or going to be able to dominate. So, yeah, give me Wisconsin to cover. I probably win outright.
I think I'm with you. Obviously, I'm going to side with Marquette winning. But I think it's going to be a tight one. It always is between these teams. I think that is a little bit further than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think so too. 6.5 is a lot of points. The state of Wisconsin basketball has me all confused. It's got my brain in a pretzel, like Ricky Bobby would say, because they're just playing a different style, right?
Yeah.
Like, they've been getting up and down the court. They've been scoring 75, 80, 90, 100 points. Scored 103 points against Arizona, who hasn't turned out to be as good as we thought at the time, by the way. But because of that, and because Marquette may be wanting to slow this down a little bit, I do think it lends itself to a game that's probably played in the 60s and is closer than 6.5 points. So I agree. I think this is going to be a tight one today, but Marquette finds a way to pull it out on the home floor. Will,
I also think we are very used to football lines, so transitioning into basketball season, we got to get a little bit used to those smaller lines, or those bigger lines for football being a closer game in college basketball. But anyways, next we got the over-under currently set at 150.5. Wisconsin has hit the over in 16 out of their last 20 games, and the total has gone over in 6 out of the last 8 matchups between Wisconsin and Marquette. Knowing this, are we feeling a lot of points or more of a defensive stalemate?
I'm going to say a little bit more defensive no, I think that the key to both teams is going to try and slow this game down because the Marquette Golden Eagles feel like they're a higher flying team in general. The games have hit the over. And Wisconsin's scoring fast. I don't think that there's enough beef for Marquette to slow anyone down. I don't know if the Badgers are strong enough under the hoop to slow anyone down either. Give me the over. Why not?
What was the number again?
150.5.
Yes, 150.5.
I'm not a math guy. I was a comm major at Marquette, but 75 points basically is,
right.
They're looking at 77, 74.
Yeah, last year 75-64 Wisconsin, so pretty on brand. I think we're going to hit the over. I think, like you said, we're talking so much about the last 3 years, but this Wisconsin team is a lot different than what we've seen. And I think Marquette, if Cam Jones plays like Cam Jones and Marquette functions like they can as an offensive team, I think this has the potential to go back and forth a bit on the offensive side. So give me the over.
What do you guys think of overtime today?
I'm in.
If overtime's a thing, which I would sign up for right now, less than 2 hours before the game, just for the fun of it all.
Not when you're in the stands later?
Yeah, no, I'll be sweating my brains out. I'll take the over 2. I do think we could be in for, just because of the style Wisconsin is playing this year, they're trying to do a little more, and I think Cam Jones, because of some of the injuries to Marquette, is going to want to wear some of the offensive onus on his shoulders. Maybe we get a shootout, a little scoring fest at Fiserv for him, and we get a 2025 college basketball game, not an 1897 one that Wisconsin likes to play so often. So I'll take the over as well. Next, Will.
Love it, fellas. Love it. Next, we got the money line. Wisconsin coming in at plus 215, Marquette minus 260. Wisconsin 0-5 straight up in their last 5 road games, while we're getting very in-depth here. Marquette 15-5 straight up in their last 20 games played on a Saturday. Can the environment at the Fiserv Forum disrupt the Badgers enough to give the Golden Eagles another Saturday win?
Where are you getting these stats at? It reminds me of those dorky baseball stats where the guy's like, yeah, this team is 375 in games played in a dome north of the Mason-Dixon line. Like, who needs that? I don't even know what the question was. Money line? Straight up.
Money
Matt,
line.
who you got?
I'll go Marquette. That Saturday stat sold me. I need Will to be my bookie or something because this is great. I think Marquette, I just think Marquette's got the advantage with the home game. I feel like in recent years, for the most part, the home team has kind of dominated. That win by Wisconsin 2 years ago here, that was an electric game that did go in overtime. Chucky Hepburn looked like a lottery pick. And Wisconsin's kind of handled things in Madison for the most part, but I think Marquette's going to bounce back at home tonight.
Listen, I get that Marquette is the home team. This is a not far drive, and outside of the environment, having a day where you wake up a little early, you get on the bus with your team, you drive over. Maybe they're staying here.
I think they stay
here. Yeah. So it is.
The only reason I know that is I drove past their bus outside a hotel in downtown Milwaukee this morning.
All right. Well, he knows what he's talking about. But you have a full day dedicated to team events in a way that I think really builds camaraderie. Right. The short trip that I take for the UFA, the Madison Radicals down to Chicago. Those games, we always do better, except for the game we lost everyone to injury. But I digress. We do better because we spend this bus ride, we spend this day together prepping and getting ready in a way that you might not as the home team. You might be a little bit more in rhythm and things like that. So I'm going to take Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin wins this one still. I'm also bad at betting, so take that as you will.
That is fair. I will take Marquette, not just because I'm a proud alum and supporter of the program. However, I'll throw this in. This is Wisconsin's first true road game of the year. They haven't played in a raucous road environment yet.
Great point.
So I think this turned up Saturday Marquette Milwaukee crowd with the kids maybe a little bit lubed up from some beers at Broken Bat. I do think there's some credence to what you said, Alex, about just being in your own bubble, right, and being around your teammates on a road game. It simplifies things, I think, but you also have to experience that a couple times. And I think the first time of the season is a difficult place to win. So I'll take Marquette with the money line here today. Will, do we have anything else?
Yeah, we got 2 more props left. We have Cam Jones to have 8 or more assists plus 165, currently averaging 7 assists in home games this year and has had 8 or more assists in 5 out of 9 games for Marquette this year. Does Cam Jones rise up in a big game and dish out 8 or more assists?
That's steep.
I'm taking the under here. In a loss at Iowa State on Wednesday night this week, and in a bad game, and I'm doing the air quotes on the ESPN Milwaukee and Madison YouTube pages right now, bad game was 14-9-8 for him. So he hit it on Wednesday night. That's a bad game. I think Cam Jones is at his best when he's scoring and he's a microwave, and I think this is going to be a Cam Jones put the team on my back kind of offensive performance where he's in the 20s or maybe even 30s. So I think that would lend itself to less assists. I'll take the under on 8.
Will, correct me if I'm wrong. My friend, I was closing Broken Bat last night. My friend was at the bar looking at Prize Picks. He said Cam Jones' scoring line was 19, I believe. I don't know if you have that in front of you, Will, but I think I'm hammering the over on that for sure for Cam Jones because I agree with you. I think we're going to get to a point in this game where Cam Jones has to step up and be the leader of this team, and he's got to go on a run. He's got to get the crowd behind him. So I'm going to take the under on assists as well. It would be great if he's flirting with a triple-double. He's already done it a couple times this year, but I'm going to take the under on assists.
Jen Latta had the chance to sit down with Shaka Smart, and he said that the way that Cam Jones is being evaluated this year isn't by how he scores, because everyone knows he can score. It's about how he passes the ball. It's about how he gets the boards. And I think that's going to be a big point of emphasis. The Badgers know who he is, and they're ready for him. If he can facilitate, then I think that the Marquette will do better. He'll also score a bunch. We know that. So I'm going to take the over. I think that he's going to have 9-10 assists.
All right, last one, Will.
All right, we got one more quick one. John Tonje to have 20 or more points is plus 100. Currently averaging 22.3 points per game this year, including a monster 41-point game against Arizona earlier in the year. Does Tonje play up to his competition in another big game, or will Shaka Smart's deflections tactic cause him to go under 20 points?
I'm taking the Stevie Mitchell under, baby. I think Stevie Mitchell is going to be right up in his grill, picking him up full court. We saw him do this a couple of weeks ago against Purdue, right? Purdue is one of the best backcourts in the country, and Stevie Mitchell had that Purdue offense in absolute hell for 40 minutes. I'll take the Stevie Mitchell-driven under for Tonje today.
I love that, and you almost convinced me. But if I'm going to take the over on the game, and I think Wisconsin's going to hang with Marquette offensively, it's going to be because of John Tonje. And I do have some defensive concerns, not with Stevie Mitchell.
I didn't know this was a parlay.
We can make
this is not financial advice, folks.
We can make it one. Yes.
But I'm going to take the over on that one for Tonje. I think if Wisconsin's going to hang in this game on the road, he's going to have a good day.
John Tonje, it's all a little off because of that 41-point game. He's not going to do that all the time. I'm taking the under. I'm taking Nolan Winter, whatever he's projected. I'm taking the over on him. He's my guy for this one.
There you go. That is Tip-Ins. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. If you're on your way downtown, stop out for a beer. They've got $5 ring out Ahoyas for the Marquette crowd all day long, open to close. They're open now. Stop by for a cold one, then head on over.
And they're not kicking out Wisconsin fans either. There's a handful of us here.
No, it's a Marquette-owned, alum-owned place, but that's okay. We welcome all for the cold beers.
We'll see how the game goes.
After the game's a different story. Coming up on the other side, we're with you for another hour until noon today, leading you up to the network pregame coverage. Coming up next, this Wisconsin program is playing different this year. Why? How? We'll answer those questions on the other side. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousins Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Norman, and you know I'm watching every snap this football season with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in hand. With over 5 million people playing and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in. Make a play with just $1 or go big. Play their pick'em game, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Underdog has all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You make picks for a pick'em entry and choose if players will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 250 passing yards, or even Travis Kelce under 1.5 touchdowns. You can even win when you lose with Underdog's Double Flex option. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN, and join me and millions of others and win big. Must be 18 plus and present in state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always, always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
The host might be irrelevant, but the conversations aren't.
It seems like they're taking the Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl in Cincinnati, is how I view that expression.
Did you just bring up a schoolyard?
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe, presented by Door County Distillery.
I was calling the Cleveland Browns poop while also tying in the Cincinnati
recess joke.
I thought I nailed it.
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe, presented by Door County Distillery. Live on ESPN Madison's YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
biggest rivalry in the state.
It is Marquette against Wisconsin.
Takes center stage.
As a player, you got to love this game. You got to love the energy that this is going to bring. You got to love this.
Especially if you're from Wisconsin. Under the basket, wild pass. Another turnover. Marquette comes the other way with Sean Jones. He's got Kolek, wide open three. Kolek, good, oh baby.
This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
Bruzewicz to midcourt. Rust has it. Lets it go.
Now broadcasting live from Broken Back Brewery in Milwaukee, here's Bryan Dee.
90 minutes till tip-off between Marquette and Wisconsin. Still time for you to pop by Broken Bat and have a cold one before heading over to the arena. Bryan Dee, Matt Yeazel, Alex Gravatt with you until noon. At that point, Gabe Neitzel takes over with your network pregame coverage and then tip-off between number 5 Marquette and number 11 Wisconsin inside Fiserv Forum. Homer and Tony on the call at 12:30 this afternoon. Guys, the Wisconsin Badgers are playing a different brand of basketball this year. For 150 years, literally, 125, they have tried to slow the game down. They have tried to play efficient offensive basketball, which is a nice way of saying slow. They've tried to slow games down, they've tried to create good shots, and they've tried to win games in the 50s and maybe the 60s, right? And that stems back to the Dick Bennett brand of basketball. This year, for the first time since 1897, Wisconsin's been playing basketball since the 1800s. For the first time in the history of the program this year, they scored 75 or more points in their first 8 games of the year. They're scoring this year. And I think some of that has to do with the talent that they have on the roster, right? They've got a guy that transferred in like John Tonje who scored 41 points at home against the Arizona Wildcats. So you've got some offensive firepower for sure. But I also think this has to do with getting kids to come to a place like Wisconsin. I really think Greg Gard finally realized that if we're going to get back to the Final Four for the first time in 10 years, and we're going to continue to be a top-notch program in the Big Ten Conference, we need to meet kids where they are now. We need to get kids to come here and play a style of basketball that will allow them to not go be car salesmen or radio hosts after their career. Sorry, Ben Brust, he joins us in 10 minutes.
Yes.
But to get them to the NBA. And I say that somewhat facetiously about Benny, but you want to play a style of basketball that allows kids to go to the NBA. If I'm 17 years old and I'm a great college basketball player, my dream job is not to play 4 years at Wisconsin and be a grinder and then go on. Like, some kids have to do that. But my goal as a 17-year-old, if I'm a top recruit, in-state or out-of-state, is to go to the NBA and to get there as quick as possible. And Wisconsin was not playing a style of basketball that lent itself to that. Marquette plays that style of basketball, and you see what happens. You've
They
got
lose.
guys. Here we go.
to the Badgers. And, like, listen, that's been it. And I do want to let you continue here in a second, but I think that it's interesting that you're putting a lot of the onus here on Greg Gard, who's done a fantastic job teaching or coaching this year. There's a lot to really like there. But remember, he's been a part of the program since 2001. I struggle to find him responsible alone for this grand turnaround in offensive structure.
Wisconsin hasn't been doing a lot of winning lately either, Alex. Right? So I do think, and college basketball's different now. College sports are different now than they were in 2001 or 2010 or 2015. You need to play an attractive style of basketball to get kids to come to your school and show them a path to the NBA. And if you're not showing them that, kids are going to go elsewhere, in-state or out-of-state. They're going to go to a different place. Matt, where do you come out on this? I really think some of this is the talent that they currently have within the program, but some of it is a mindset change. If you got a Broken Bad beer inside Greg Gard or a Badger Collective NIL beer inside Greg Gard, I do think he would say there is some credence to, look, we're trying to play a different style to get kids to come to Wisconsin.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Wisconsin was stuck in the mud offensively for a while. Like you mentioned, being compared to like a Virginia who kind of plays it similar. Like, look, they're not concerned about scoring 60, 70 points. They're concerned about the defensive end and getting quality looks on offense. But at some point, in today's age of college basketball, you got to just find some hoopers that can go get you a bucket when you need one. And Wisconsin struggled mightily with that in recent years. Every now and then we saw flashes from Chucky Hepburn. Like I mentioned, when he played in Milwaukee 2 years ago, he looked like a lottery pick type of point guard that could get you a bucket when you needed one. But too often in the last few years, they just haven't had the guys that you can get the ball to and get a big-time shot when you need one, like I think Marquette has right now with Cam Jones, like he's shown throughout his career. So I think we're seeing that change a little bit. They went in the transfer portal because they had to, again, because a lot of guys left. But they went in the portal. They got a hooper in John Tonje, who played at some smaller schools. They said, okay, we like what we see. We think this can translate to the Big Ten and some of the opponents we're going to play. And so far, it has, and I think that's a positive development if you're a Badger fan.
For sure. And the last guy that was able to do it, obviously, at that level was Johnny Davis. And look what happened to him, right? The last guy that they just let cook out there and said, go do your thing, was a lottery pick in the NBA. That's how you have to play and get kids. You have to motivate them in that way, in addition to the money part of this, right? Like, money has to be there to get these kids to come to your school. Player development has to be there in order, once you get them, to transcend them to that NBA level. But you have to play a style of basketball that allows them to be themselves offensively, because that's where basketball is today, right now, in 2024, 2025.
It's the perfect storm, right? We mentioned that half of the Badgers roster left. They transfer portal, graduation, and whatever it was, they're gone. And so Guard had a moment where he could completely reinvent the team. And is this Guard? Absolutely. He has a part to do with it. But I think that Chris McIntosh, the athletic director of Wisconsin, Luke Fickell coming in and being like, no, we have to pay players. And he's bringing in this outside expertise in that area, in this conversation about recruiting. And all of a sudden you have a fully new starting lineup. You have a little bit of money to spend and play with. And you've got a group of people who are excited and intrigued in this, and you go out and you get a bunch of guys who can go score and see what happens. Now, what I think could be the biggest thing for Wisconsin is having this game today be an incredibly competitive game, be chippy, be exciting, because if you can create the environment of a true rivalry game with your in-state opponent, who is consistently a top 10 team, who is consistently making runs in the tournament, to lose to the hot team, but everyone has to do something, right? The Badgers were the #1 upset pick in the first weekend last year, so I think that this is just the perfect storm, and my curiosity is, can they keep this running past this year to create some exciting, so that Con Knippel, who was a Wisconsin guy, doesn't go to Duke. Now, obviously, if you can go to Duke, go to Duke. But if we can start saving some of those guys and keeping them in state and attracting the excitement of Chicago kids, it's perfect.
You're talking about culture, right? And that's the one thing that Shaka Smart has built in an expeditious amount of time in Milwaukee, right? He's built a culture, and he said this with Alex Strofe on Coaches Week across the ESPN Wisconsin YouTube pages. He said, the only place you should leave Marquette early for is the NBA. And he's built a program where guys buy into that and say, I've seen 25 years of guys going to the NBA through Marquette and also playing high-level Big East college basketball and being successful. And I think Wisconsin is, in some ways, in the infancy stages of trying to build that culture where they can get guys like Con Knippel and others from in-state to go not to Marquette, but to Wisconsin and show them a path to professional basketball. 800-990-3776 is the phone number for you to get in on this Marquette-Wisconsin College Game Day. Tip-off a little more than an hour away. It's one thing for us to talk about Badgers basketball and what's happening inside the program. It's quite another for Ben Bruss to do it. Benny joins us on the other side, the Badgers legend. This is Marquette-Wisconsin College Game Day, live from Broken Bat Brewing Company in the 3rd Ward, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
Come see what the buzz is all about at Madison Axe, Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Enjoy 8 lanes of axe throwing, craft beer, interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard with 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, bar table games, and more. Perfect for date night, groups, corporate meetings, or private events. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Do you guys think Dan Campbell's a soup guy?
No.
No?
No. He's a meat and potatoes guy. No question.
No, he looks like a beef barley type guy.
Maybe a stew.
Matzo ball?
A stew.
Dan Campbell and I just matzo ball soup on a Friday night. What do you think?
Unsportsmanlike.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekdays from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
I'm Sam Daniels with Daniels Construction. I'm proud to say I'm part of the family that has owned and operated Daniels Construction for 3 generations. As you drive around southern Wisconsin, you've seen our award-winning work. We have always focused on building better futures, better people, better communities. We do that by offering youth apprenticeships, paid on-the-job training, and specialized training at our in-house training center. We are a growing company and want you to grow with us. From construction opportunities to new careers, you can browse who we are and what we have to offer at danielsco.com. That's danielsco.com.
Everybody's buzzing about Quick Trip's possibly pilfered potatoes. We have them priced so low, some say they're illegal. Swipe potato fries? Potatoes ill-gotten? Stash browns? Come on, these are not hot potatoes. But it is a quick hot savings. You might say it's a steal. No, don't say that. 99 cents for a 5-pound bag. 5 pounds of potatoes under $1? What a heist. A perfect score for those large meal gatherings. Quick Trip. We got your taters covered.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
2.5 seconds to go. Bruzewitz to midcourt. Rust has it. Lets it go.
Found you here right beside me.
We don't need to stroke his ego anymore. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Little over an hour until tip between these rivals, Marquette and Wisconsin, inside Fiserv Forum. And joining us now, a man who played in 4 of these games. He is Wisconsin Badger legend Ben Brust. Benny, does that highlight ever get old for you hearing that?
I was thinking about it. I was like, should they mix it up and do different intros? But I'm okay with it, and I know that Alex Gravatt, one of our producers and hosts, is always looking for a raise. I know Will just started, but I think we might need to give him a raise.
Yeah, I think so too. We can sprinkle him in on KBN. Strophy's here right now, Benny, and he's wearing his split Marquette, Wisconsin shirt that his girlfriend spliced together for him here at Broken Bat. I called it grotesque on social media. He went viral yesterday. What did you make of that shirt choice that he's currently wearing as he orders a beer here at Broken Bat?
He is got some major birthday energy right now. It is his birthday, and I think like if I could imagine what it's like at Broken Bat, he has a beer in his hand, he's smiling, and then everyone who comes up with him, he's like, "Oh, I went to Stevens Point. I'm from Green Bay. I like both teams." Like I can literally hear the conversation he's having with every single person about the shirt.
You literally just did play-by-play of Alex Strofe without being here. That was incredible stuff from Ben Brust. All right, Ben, let's transition to this game today. You played in 4 of these, and we had a conversation off the top of our show about how people in this state, it doesn't feel as heated because there's a lack of real stakes, right? Both of these teams can recover and have great seasons regardless of a loss today. How would you build in stakes, and what did it feel like as a player that played in this thing?
Well, I think for both teams right now, coming off of losses, the message that I would have as a coach to both teams is like, A, you want to win this game for both yourself, the fans. You're like, just it does matter. Look, it does matter. There's no doubt it matters. But you're coming off losses, and you never know what your team's going to be like once you get to conference play. And this will be a signature win on your resume as you head towards the NCAA tournament. These teams are both what we think they are, which I'm not going to lie, I still am a little scared about the Badgers. I'm not saying they're not going to make the tournament. I think they might be exposed today. I really do. I don't love the matchup for them. So you got to get up. You got to find a way to get a win because you're both coming up losses, and losing 2 games in a row in December is not fun because then you head into finals. And then you're just dwelling on losses. So you just got to find a way. Someone's got to find a way, and I have a bad feeling it's going to be Marquette.
Why are you skeptical?
I'm skeptical because I love the way that the guards play for Marquette. Like, the Badgers don't have a point guard. Their point guard comes off the bench. His name's Kamari McGee, and he's great. I love him. But I don't think he's going to play 38 minutes and control the tempo, control the game. Although Chucky Hepburn 2 years ago at Fiserv Forum hit unbelievable shots, like he was the guy running the pace and the tempo and hit big shots. They don't have a point guard, and if you don't have a point guard, how are you going to get into any offense when you have Marquette guards? Like if I was Shaka, if the ball went through the hoop, I am guarding them the entire way down the floor. I hope he's not listening, and make the ball handlers make mistakes because they don't really have a true point guard.
I love how Ben thinks he created the full court press. Shaka's never heard of it.
Ben, so here's the thing. I didn't know until today that if you're a Marquette fan in the student section just wearing red, you get escorted out of that area by security. I knew that this had some heat. I didn't know the extent of heat it had from Marquette fans. What was it like in the locker room? Did Coach Bo Ryan for you kind of prep you for that, and was there that same level of heat coming from your side?
Wait, is that actually true? That can't be true.
That's what I'm saying.
That is true.
That was my experience my freshman year.
Thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I don't know.
Is Bryan Dee running the security section?
Yes.
Over by the student section?
Yes. I wonder, I don't know if it's because they don't want it or if it's for, like, protection. You know what I mean? Which neither is good.
Me?
Now that I say that out loud, neither is good.
Now you're making it sound like your student body and these Marquette students are out for blood.
And they're not. They're not out for blood.
That's what I'm saying. The Marquette students are private kids. They're not about that life. They've never been in a fight.
Fair.
So was it in the locker room as Santa Claus walks
Santa's
in at
here.
the Broken Bat Brewery?
Oh, there he is. He's wearing red, unfortunately.
Exactly. No, that's a Badger fan right there. I'm taking it. What was it like in the locker room? Were you prepped as the big rivalry game?
No. I mean I can't speak to how they treat it now. We knew what it was, right? Like, you have guys that grew up in the state of Wisconsin and maybe grew up Marquette fans, but once you put on the jersey, you're all because we had some Milwaukee guys that, would just grew up in the area, and naturally they're we would talk about it. Like, there's some damn good teams, some damn good guys, and you're like, we're not there anymore. And so I remember when I was a freshman, Josh Gosser at the Bradley Center got a steal, and like seeing a guy from Port Washington right outside of Milwaukee get the job done, like it matters. Now, like for like Klesmit, I think it matters for him at Wisconsin. Kamari, I think it matters. But it is weird. Like, does John Tonje coming from Missouri and Colorado State, like, is this just like another game where you hope he plays well, or does he know, like, we want him to be a dog? Like, he has to be a dog. Because the way the Marquette plays, rivalry or not, they are dogs. So I'm curious to see what the intensity level is. But for Bo Ryan, it was the same speech, the same this, the same that, and it was boring, but it worked for us. And what's weird is Wisconsin's won these last couple matchups against Marquette, and Marquette's 6.5-point favorites. And I'm really intrigued to see, because I think Marquette is the better team. Not just because of the point spread. I'm curious to see what Wisconsin's made of today.
Ben, I want to ask, you talk about maybe the specific rivalry not hitting so hard for certain players, maybe not from the state. But you mentioned playing in the Bradley Center. Obviously, Fiserv Forum is brand new. But what was the experience like, coming from playing in the Kohl Center to, once or twice in your college career you're going to get to play in an NBA arena in Milwaukee with, of course, some Badger fans making the short trip. Was that an experience you and the other players looked forward to every year?
Yeah, it was. So my freshman year, this is a funny story. I was my freshman year, we were on the road. We won that game. And I got called. I barely played as a freshman, but I got called into the first half. And I had to guard Darius Johnson-Odom, DJO, as a freshman. And he's like a legit man that looked like he was like
biggest
25.
Shoulders I've ever seen in my life.
And I cut him off on the baseline. I was like, yeah, I cut him off. And then on offense, I had a wide-open floater from 5 feet that I airballed. And that was the end of me playing there as a freshman. My junior year, we lost. But then won my senior year. So it was 2-2. It is fun. It's more fun going on the road, in my opinion, because the opportunity to shut up the crowd. I mean, I remember being at Wisconsin when Marquette won by 20, and it was like the Andrew Rousey game and the Hausers. And I think Wisconsin had a bunch of guys hurt, but they came into the Kohl Center, and I guarantee if you asked them, they'd be like, that felt freaking amazing, shutting up the entire crowd, especially with all the stuff that had gone on there. So the road games are more fun, they're more challenging, but when you get a win on the road, it feels so much better.
And, of course, Ben Bruss, biggest game in the Bradley Center. He lit that place on fire, maybe the loudest moment in the history of the arena. Ben Bruss, former Badger, joins us here on Marquette, Wisconsin. College game day tip-off just over an hour away. Ben, I'm curious about the state of Wisconsin basketball right now. We just had a conversation about it because they're scoring this year. And that's an abnormal thing. Maybe outside of those couple of years, your junior and senior year, and then the second Final Four year, there's a lot of points being scored for this program. Is it just indicative of the talent they have in the program right now, or do you think there's a bigger philosophical change happening under Greg Gard?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. I mean, you kind of have to adapt to the way that college basketball is going. I don't know if you guys have watched a lot of college basketball. Their scoring is way up. They have all these fouls that are just like knick-knack and tic-tac fouls. Like, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's no game flow. But if you have a guy like John Tonje and John Blackwell that can get to the rim, they'll throw a pump fake and they'll get to the lane, or they'll go aggressive. And I remember talking with Greg Gard after they played Arizona. I was like, how the hell did they score 100-plus points against a ranked team? And I remember they were up like 11 with like 4 minutes left. And you know what we would have done? We would have swung the ball and just
park the bus.
Waited for, we yelled 10 seconds on the bench and do a ball screen. Coach Gard was like, yeah. I was like, forget all that. We had rhythm and momentum. You let your guys play. So it's just a level of trust that I think that Gard has in the guys. But I'll tell you what, I'm not worried about Blackwell. I'm not worried about Tonje. Max Klesmit, I think, is a guy that needs to figure out when it's right and when it's wrong within the offense to go get a bucket, because I think he's forcing it too much, and I don't know why, because he's a good player. He doesn't need to be a great player. And I don't know where that comes from, whether it's just like getting older through the program, but like play good defense, hit the open shots. He does hit tough shots. I say that, and he's missed like he was like 1 for whatever the last game. Last year against Marquette, I think you remember the first half, he hit like 6 threes. So
Scorched
you never
earth.
know. But like I see them losing to Michigan. I'm like, why are you taking 2 of the last 3 shots? Like, give it to the guys. Give it to the guys. So I'm just curious to see how this team evolves. And like I said, I'm not feeling confident, and I'll be watching this game with about 20 Marquette alum as I head to an engagement party.
And Bruce, do you think like there's inherently some rivalry, some juice, because you're just going to be around all these Marquette fans, which I'm sorry for you. Do you think that it would be better for Wisconsin and for Marquette if this were a true rivalry? I know Big East, Big Ten, you can't really get there, but like if this game meant something for the state of Wisconsin in a bigger way, do you think that it would be better for both teams?
I think we'd all be lying if we were trying to say that it's not as big of a rivalry as it seems. I do believe, and I think everyone would agree, it does matter just a little bit more to Marquette, and that's not a slight against Marquette. Yep. They don't have football. It's a basketball school. So if a basketball school with all their resources go towards the team, or the majority of resources, and they don't beat the Badgers basketball team, that's a bad look in my opinion. So it should matter more. Like, this is a basketball school at Marquette. So that's my backhanded way of saying, yeah, it does matter more to you guys, so you better not freaking lose.
Ben, you talked about kind of how this team is looking different, just going kind of with the state of college basketball. I want to get your take on where you stand with Greg Gard as a coach. I know the man next to me, Bryan Dee, is shocked that Greg Gard is still employed and has been for the last few years, and he's taken some heat, but it seems like he's making adjustments.
Putting words in my mouth a little bit there. But
a little bit.
Go ahead.
At least off-air conversations we've had. But where do you stand with Greg Gard?
I mean, here's the thing. In 2020, they won 8 straight games to get a share of the Big Ten title. There was no tournament. 2022, the Johnny Davis year, Johnny Davis was ridiculous, and he was a sophomore, so Greg Gard does deserve credit for developing him as from a freshman to a sophomore to doing what he did. They won a share of the Big Ten title. The only criticism I have for Greg Gard is it's unacceptable to be a head coach as long as he has, and not have gone to a Sweet 16 since 2017 out in Philadelphia against Notre Dame, or whether it was New York against Florida. I get those 2 years mixed up. But he's like, unfortunately, the way that we judge college coaches in basketball, this game doesn't matter, regular season doesn't matter. The whole world turns their attention to their favorite team in March, and there are strong college basketball fans. But when you get the masses watching in the tournament and you don't deliver, the pressure goes on you. And so I think if he can just get this team building to a spot in which they are ready to make a run, that's my only thing, is because he's adjusted. He brought on Kirk Penny, brought on Greg Steemsma, former Badgers that have been in the NBA, overseas, new philosophy. So they've gone full in on making this program better. Now it's just about results at the end of the day. I think Coach Gard's a good coach, and I think it's very easy to look at in the tournament and just be like, yeah, well, he doesn't win. And I get that, and I can't defend that. But at the same time, he's doing good things. Like, winning a Big Ten title is not easy. You have to put together 20 games, and we'll see if he's able to do that with an extended Big Ten. But this would be the classic Greg Gard year. Greg Scalzo, my former co-host, said this one. Last year, a lot of heat on him, loses in the tournament. Watch them tie for first with 5 teams and win a Big Ten title, and then hopefully make a run. But if he doesn't, it's going to be hard to fire a guy that won a Big Ten title. So that would be the Gard circle of Greg Scalzo's prediction, which I think is quite funny.
All right, last thing for you, Ben. We're trying to come up with a trophy for this rivalry game to add some stakes, much like the axe between Wisconsin and Minnesota. Ben Steele from the Journal-Sentinel offered up the idea of a bronze PBR can that could be taken one way or the other down I-94. What would you suggest? What do you think the trophy should be?
As I think about 94, is there something in like Johnson Creek that they're known for? Halfway through
the outlet mall.
Yeah, like everyone gets a gift card to the outlet mall halfway through Madison to Milwaukee.
That Nike store is undefeated.
Is there a trophy? Like, how you do these football trophies? Is there just like a block of cheese on top of a trophy that you can engrave the winners and each year you give it back? I don't know. I like the trophy idea.
Yeah. What about like a big like udder? It's like very cow-centric. You can drink out of it. Like, it's a whole thing.
We could call it a
milk it year-round.
We could call it a con canipple. I think Ben just hung up. There
Got it.
Ben, thanks for the time, buddy. Enjoy the game today, and stay safe around those Marquette fans.
Stay safe, yes. It's almost like I'm in the student
They're
section.
feisty.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, we'll kick you out.
They're going to have to escort me out of the room.
There he is. That is Ben Brust, the former Badger and coach of Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Coming up next year on Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. I almost got kicked out of the Kohl Center last year for this rivalry game. I'll explain that story on the other side. Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day all season long, brought to you by our proud partners, National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Prepaid gift cards are popular for both shoppers and scammers. Only purchase gift cards from authorized retailers. And before buying one, check for signs of package tampering, a scratched-off security code, or added barcode sticker. After purchasing gift cards, use them quickly to avoid theft by a scammer. Finally, only scammers will demand you pay them with a gift card. Learn more at datcp.wi.gov or call the Consumer Protection Hotline at 1-800-422-7128. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee for Steinhoffels. Steinhoffels is partnering with Special Spaces Wisconsin and the Green Bay Packers to create dream bedrooms for children battling cancer all across Wisconsin. This season, every time the Packers make a field goal, Steinhoffels will donate $1,000 to Special Spaces Wisconsin. Steinhoffels has been Wisconsin's furniture and mattress leader since 1934, is 100% employee-owned, and is a proud partner of the Green Bay Packers.
Cousin Subs is spicing things up this fall with a new sub and a delicious shake. The Chipotle Cheesesteak Sub, with either grilled-to-order chicken or steak, features pepper jack cheese, sauteed green peppers and onions, jalapenos, and Chipotle ranch dressing. And that's not all. Pair your Chipotle cheesesteak with a delicious mint shake, and your taste buds will fall in love. Order in-store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Hey, it's Bobby Portis, and I love playing basketball in Milwaukee. When I drive down the lane, I move fast and make sudden moves to drive to the hoop and score. But when I'm behind the wheel in the driving lane, I control my drive. I don't speed or make sudden movements. Speeding and reckless driving are the leading causes of traffic injuries and deaths in Wisconsin. Do what I do. Control your drive. Don't speed. Don't be reckless. Zero in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Wisconsin DOT.
Celebrate the return of the high school basketball season on ESPN Madison with the 608 Basketball Tournament. Featuring the best boys basketball teams and recruits from the Madison area and around the state, the 608 Tournament returns Friday, December 13th and Saturday, December 14th at Madison College. Come experience the best showcase of high school basketball in the Madison area. Purchase tickets today at 608basketball.com. That's 608basketball.com. The 608 Basketball Tournament, December 13th and 14th at Madison College.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Dr. Schwab is a board-certified general surgeon who can help with many simple and outpatient procedures to alleviate varicose and spider veins. Visit StoughtonHealth.com to learn more. StoughtonHealth.com. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
You're listening to Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Get some popcorn in here. Tip in! Ball game! Justin Lewis! How about the length of one-handed control?
That's one of the all-time shames in the Marquette, Wisconsin rivalry. That a buzzer-beating tip-in had nobody in the crowd.
And they pumped in the sound. I forgot that was happening.
2020 was such a weird time for sports. Welcome back into a Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. Less than an hour from tip-off between the Badgers and the Golden Eagles. If you're listening on 94.5 ESPN, network pregame coverage begins at noon with Gabe Neitzel, Homer, and the Hall of Famer Tony Smith on the call at 12:30. My name is Bryan Dee. That's Alex Gravatt from Madison. That is Matt Yeazel from ESPN Milwaukee. We are breaking down this game. And, Matt, you actually lobbed something up that's becoming a theme on this show that I wasn't actually aware existed, that if you wear red in the Marquette student section for this game, you get forcefully escorted out? Not forcefully.
I thought you were going to say executed. I was
going
to say,
whoa. No.
Slow down there.
Suddenly we have a real rival.
Right, yeah, there we go. I can only speak to my experience. This was my freshman year in the student section, hyped up, got my season tickets, first year or whatever, and I'm just seeing these people wearing red, Wisconsin stuff, in the student section. Now, I don't know if they're Badger students or Marquette students that haven't found their way yet, but they were escorted out, and it was becoming a thing on Twitter. I think I tweeted that out, and it kind of got some buzz, too, because, you know, the general fan bases don't know what's going on in the student sections at both schools. I can't speak to what they're doing now, so Badger fans planning to go in the student section today, I don't know if you're safe or not, but it was something that was interesting, something that I had not seen before.
So our great marketing teammate Dylan is here. He was a Marquette student as well, recent graduate. Can you give me a nod if this is a true thing? Yeah, he's nodding. This is it. So if you're wearing red in the student section, they're going to take you out. I got to believe.
Or ask you to take it off. And then if you have some, like, it's cold out, everyone's got jackets and underlayers and stuff.
Tarps off for the boys. I got to believe the people that are getting kicked out are chirping or something. You know, there's going to be a reason to kick you out.
Yeah, I don't think you're sitting there calmly and they are, especially like towards the back of the student section, and they're just like, no, you're done. You get out. But okay. I think maybe if you're, I mean, look, if you're in the student section, you're standing up, you're being loud and rowdy.
Yeah.
But I think in general, they just, especially closer to the court, I think they discourage wearing red.
Okay, I'm going to watch out for it.
And clearly they must have the right to do that.
Okay, I'm going to watch out for it. So this whole concept has prompted a memory in my mind. A year ago, I made the drive out to Madison, and I went to the game by myself. The Marquette, Wisconsin game. My wife didn't want to come that day. I was out there doing a pregame show with our good buddy Alex Gravatt of Kyle Brust Nortman, and I said, to hell with it. I'm going to buy a ticket on StubHub last minute. I'm going to go in. So I did. Marquette lost, which was a bummer. But I sat next to a guy that whistled the entire game. You know, whistle guy at a game that can stick his fingers in his mouth and make that popping
big-time
noise?
Whistle. Okay.
And it was the worst experience. That was worse than Marquette losing, was having to sit next to whistle guy the entire game. So it got me thinking about the worst fan to sit next to at a sporting event. I will offer up whistle guy as nomination number one. What else do you guys have?
Okay, first things first. You will never in your life enjoy going to a soccer game in South America.
Yeah, no.
I went to a Colombian soccer game. It was in Medellin. It was super fun. And we get there. Every time there's anything even remotely resembling a foul, you get 2,000 of the 60, 70,000 people just hitting that whistle again and again and again. It was electric. I had so much fun, but if you don't like the whistle guy, you're not going to like it there. That's for sure.
It was just incessant. Like, I get it if you're doing it once or twice a game, but for the full 40 minutes, this guy had his fingers in his mouth and was just popping that whistle the entire time. Matt, any other bad fans you've sat by in stadiums that you would like to nominate for the worst fan experience?
Well, I think trying to think of the atmosphere today that fans are driving to the Fiserv Forum right now and what to expect. It's going to be electric. It's going to be loud. And I think the worst fans today might be the ones that never want to stand. Or they'll have an issue with you if you're near them and you're standing.
Up, down guy.
Right. And we're not talking about the student sections, obviously. They're going to stand. But, in the lower bowl, if you're the fan that, you want to just sit back, relax, and enjoy some good college basketball today, which, sure, fine. But this is going to be a loud atmosphere. These fans are going to want to get up and get into it. I think there's going to be a lot of standing today. And you can't have an issue with that. I'm sorry. You want to be a part of the atmosphere. That's what this is all about, the college atmosphere. Bucks games are different. Bucks games are great in their own way. You can sit a little bit more and enjoy those games. This is a different atmosphere. You can't have a problem with people standing and getting loud.
I think that's a great nomination. The last one I'll lob up to you guys is person that has a comment on everything guy. Like, you can just cheer and boo, but
hosting a podcast during the game.
Yeah, exactly right. It's like, why did he do this? Or shoot it, or swing it, or pass it around. Like, just grab a beer, sip on that, cheer, boo. I don't need hosting a podcast guy behind me for the entire game. That's no fun.
That's what we're here for.
Any others?
Yeah, I was going to say I've made a profession out of it, and I am a little bit that guy, but it's mostly just like fun facts and stats. I'm not like I don't play basketball. I don't know if that would be the right thing, but I might see someone go up and slam it down. It's like, he had 17 last week. He's gonna have a big game. Like, I like that. That's
all
me.
right.
I'm not here to tell you how to fan.
Thank goodness.
Everyone's fan is just proper. It's fine. I love it. Except for, I will say, if you're gonna overindulge, you need to be aware of your surroundings. I don't like it when people are like getting after each other without understanding that maybe it's just a one-way thing. I remember going to a Packer game, and it was an hour before the game. There's a guy standing alone, a row and a half behind me, just screaming, nothing but curse words. He's got a pile of Miller or whatever next to him, and I was just like,
drunk guy?
Dude.
Yeah, you don't want to be drunk guy.
Pull it back. You can be drunk at a game. It's a fun environment, but rein it in, man.
Yeah,
that's why they've got Bucky jail at Badger games. I don't know if you two know about this.
Bucky jail?
It's at football games. If you are caught being a little too rowdy, specifically in the student section, they don't want to arrest you, but they take you down to Bucky jail, which is like a fenced-in area that you get handcuffed in, and it's just a drunk tank until everyone leaves the stadium.
I didn't know there was such a thing as Bucky jail.
Bucky jail's a real thing.
That's what I'm going to call Stevie Mitchell's defense today.
Yep.
Bucky jail.
There we go.
There it is. Coming up next, we'll wrap up the show. We'll take you into network pregame coverage with some breaking news on the injury front from warm-ups at Fiserv Forum. We'll tell you what that is on the other side. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the podcast, Bucks radio host Justin Garcia hops on with Marcus and Chris. Find Here District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
Celebrate Wisconsin hospitality at a Buck & Honey's location near you. You can give your friends or loved ones a memorable experience with a Buck & Honey's gift card. Or treat yourself. For every $100 in gift cards purchased, you'll get $20 back to use at Buck & Honey's in Sun Prairie, Monona, Waunakee, or the new location in Mount Horeb. Oh, don't forget to make yourself reservations for the holidays. Offer availability between November 15th and December 31st. Locally owned and operated. We'll see you at Buck & Honey's.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Monday nights this football season, huddle up for the Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia.
The Badgers did lose a specialist, the highest rated kicker punter they've ever had come in.
We lost a punter?
Violent in the world.
And
my heart bleeds for you.
But hey, that's an in-state guy. That's an in-state guy who's leaving, right?
The Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia. Mondays at 6 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Marquette is going to have 9 days off before their next game. Howard for 3. Look at him go. They keep coming for Marquette.
Closing in on tip-off between Marquette and Wisconsin. The Golden Eagles come in at number 5, Wisconsin at number 11. The rivalry renewed, first time since 2011. These teams have come in both ranked. Going to be an exciting game. Gabe Neitzel has your network pregame coverage on the Marquette Radio Network if you're listening in Milwaukee, coming up at noon. Guys, we got some big news from the warm-up floor at Fiserv Forum, where I'll be heading shortly after we wrap up here at noon. Chase Ross, one of Marquette's best perimeter defenders, suffered a pretty severe sprained ankle on Wednesday night in a loss at Iowa State, and apparently he's warming up. Now, that's a big surprise for this game because he was in a boot.
Yeah.
And sometimes the boot is precautionary after you sprain an ankle. You never really know the severity, but a boot, generally speaking, is not something you want to see in basketball for a guy that just sprained his ankle. The fact that he's out there warming up in uniform is a really good sign for his availability and could really stack up and bode well for Marquette's perimeter defense today, Matt.
Yeah, one of those guys, if you're looking at the box score prior to this game, maybe Badger fans that haven't watched Marquette yet, you might not think that's as big of an impact, but we've talked about the defensive side for Marquette a lot today, and I think that just would make me and other Marquette fans feel 10 times better about the defensive matchup against this Wisconsin offense, particularly as Ben Steele, who, by the way, reported that Chase Ross was warming up. He mentioned earlier the strength of the Wisconsin backcourt. if Chase Ross is able to go, even in a somewhat limited capacity, I think defensively I feel 10 times better about the matchup against that Wisconsin backcourt.
The other thing about Chase is he's second on the team in assists, so maybe I have to go back and amend my my Cam Jones over on assists. If Chase is playing, then there will be more ball movement, and that spreads the Wisconsin defense a little bit more too, which makes me a little nervous. But the entire Marquette team is banged up. We don't know if he's active yet or not. Correct. Okay, so listen, anything could happen, but that's that could be huge for Marquette in this game.
Yeah, it just pushes the onus onto some more senior guys, right? Chase is a junior. He's played a lot of basketball at Marquette. He's played in some big-time tournament and Big East tournament moments. And when he went out of Wednesday night's game relatively early in the first half, Marquette had to rely on a couple of freshmen to play significant minutes, most notably Demarius Owens and Royce Parham, who contributed well offensively, but defensively, that's a whole different animal against a team like Iowa State or a team like Wisconsin that's got some experience on the floor, right? Yeah. So just having Chase out there from a being in the right place defensively perspective could do a world of help for Marquette today against the Badgers.
Yeah, and I just want to hit on those two freshmen. We haven't talked a ton about them, but I think that's my biggest takeaway from Marquette's last game against Iowa State. Demarius Owens, and Royce Parham, particularly late in that second half, just stepping up and getting those buckets that Marquette needed. I think if you go into a big game for Marquette, you're going to say Cam Jones is going to shoot as poorly as he did, and you're still going to have a shot to win that game on the road. I would have been pretty surprised going into that game. So I think we're going to see more and more Demarius Owens, more and more Royce Parham, but particularly Owens. He just showed the ability not just to shoot from deep, but to be a ball handler, to take control and get a bucket when they need him.
So I went on the Dam Sports Show on ESPN Beaver Dam on Thursday afternoon with our buddies Corey Sparks and Wally Lukaczynski, and they asked me, tie game, 10 seconds left, Cam Jones can't take the shot for some reason to win the game. Who do you want the ball in the hands of? And at the time, Chase Ross was not looking like he was going to be healthy.
Yeah.
I think I would amend my pick to Chase in that moment. But in that moment, I said Demarius Owens because of how well he's been shooting the three.
87.5%.
I did make a bet, guys, with the ESPN Beaver Dam Sports Show guys. I said that if Demarius Owens wins today's game on a buzzer beater, which is pretty specific, if he wins the game on a buzzer beater, I have to drive to Beaver Dam next week and jump in Lake Beaver Dam in the frigid part of December.
Wow.
So I'm hoping Marquette wins comfortably today. I'm hoping they cover the 6.5-point spread, but there is a smidge of me that is hoping for the Demarius Owens buzzer beater so I can go jump in Lake Beaver Dam with the Dam Sports Show guys on ESPN Beaver Dam.
You might make a Marquette fan out of me in no time. That would be so much fun to watch. I'd make the trek up and just watch that. I'm not jumping in myself. We had the sales team went up there a couple weeks ago that I'm a part of, or a couple years ago now, I guess. But we had one of our guys jump in the water. It's a different color up there. Just fair warning.
Uh-oh.
So
if the KBN boys could do it because of Jordan Love's touchdown bet last year, I think I could pull it off with a Marquette victory today. About a minute left in the show, guys. We'll wrap it up with this. We've talked about adding a trophy to this game. A trophy to add some stakes because it happens so early in the year. I want to nominate this because Ben Steele gave us the bronze PBR can. Ben Brust gave us the Con Knipple, just a big udder, right? I want to nominate a golden beer keg. A giant beer keg that you can hoist like the Stanley Cup at the end of every game and that you get to house in your trophy case every year.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have to be full. It could be if you like. But given the college connections, I don't know if we'd be able to pull this off.
I was going to say that's going to be the concern.
We'll fill it with Gatorade and then you can dump it. The celebratory dump.
Yeah, but I think for the Wisconsin I-94 rivalry, Wisconsin-Marquette, the golden beer keg that you get to hoist and keep on campus might be the trophy game. I'm going to run it past some of the powers that be in Marquette and see if we can make it happen. This has been Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. Thanks to Alex Gravatt. Thanks to Matt Yeazel. Thanks to our friends at Broken Bat Brewery for hosting us. Network pregame coverage coming up next in Milwaukee. Madison, enjoy the game. Go Marquette.
National Liquor Mart is
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Get ready for a festive season at the Bruce Company in Middleton. Jim Rutledge here, the Bruce Company Garden Center, has packed their calendar with fun events for your whole family. Kickstart your holiday season with exciting events like a visit with Icelandic horses and snowy owls, and of course, their reindeer fly-in and holiday open house. Mr. and Mrs. Claus will even be landing for a visit at the Bruce Company. So join in the fun this holiday season. Learn more about their upcoming events at brucecompany.com.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIP